Hello everyone and welcome to Inside Procurement, the SmartCube's video forum examining the concepts and ideas that influence procurement and supply chain executives both today and tomorrow. Today's video examines centers of excellence, or the CoEs that are part and parcel of every progressive procurement organization. We'll pull apart what the role is of the Center of Excellence in a procurement department, the types of issues that they grapple with, and how they can work to ensure that they're playing a strategic role in helping to facilitate real change across the procurement team. In other words, what do you need to do to make your CoE into a performance-enabling powerhouse? As we said at the start of this video, Centers of Excellence are typically considered an important part of the progressive procurement organization. In the strict sense, they're internal bodies that perform knowledge-based services on a one-to-many basis for the procurement function and other related stakeholders as well. Yes, the fact is that the CoE can also support on a one-to-one basis also, but they're generally set up to support across categories and enabling the function as a whole and then specific categories individually. What this means is that the CoE should be performing key activities such as disseminating knowledge in the form of best practices, market intelligence, and more. Looking for opportunities to promote collaboration across the category teams. Acting as the clearinghouse for processes, methodologies, models, etc. And in turn, optimizing and homogenizing operations and processes wherever appropriate. CoEs should also be focused on enabling innovation and continuous improvement, on establishing and maintaining the metrics and mechanisms to monitor and measure performance and success, and providing targeted management support on key strategic initiatives. In fact, if you get the CoE model right, it should act as an incubator that nurtures, cultivates, and develops high performers who then feed into the broader organization, upskilling as they go along. That's the theory. The practical reality, though, at times can be quite different. The practical reality is that many CoEs at times get pulled away from this broader vision and get caught up with more tactical activities. This manifests itself in many different ways. For example, they become librarians of information versus true insight providers. They adopt a one-size-fits-all type solution to try and solve all client problems, what I call the lowest common denominator problem. They spend far too much time managing vendors of tools and resources and less time interacting and understanding how to optimize those processes and get results. And they try and please every internal stakeholder and hence stretch themselves far too thin, what I call the he who shouts the loudest problem. Now, why does this happen? Number one, lack of leadership commitment towards the CoE. It's often an afterthought and hence isn't really enabled correctly. Look, if the boss doesn't really buy it, who else will? Number two, the wrong people staffed in the roles across the CoE. In other words, the wrong people without the experience or the knowledge to do the job that it's being asked to do. Number three, lack of sufficient bodies for the charter that it's been given, which is why so many get stretched so thin. Number four, lack of process, structure, and rigor in execution, from what you choose to do to when it gets done and for whom, aka the guts to say no. Number five, insufficient budgets for the right tools and resources. Look, everything isn't about money, but it sure does help to have the right tools, even the most adequate tools to get things done. In short, commitment, resources, and discipline. All right, let's talk more rock. How do we fix things and start moving along the right path? Well, let's look at this from two vantage points, that of the head of procurement and then that of the CoE itself. Okay, if you're the boss and you're listening to this, well, here's your checklist of what you need to do before you complain that your CoE isn't doing what you want. Number one, are you providing clear and ample executive sponsorship and support? Are you promoting your CoE as the A-team to the category leadership and the rest of the procurement organization, one that can help enable them to get their objectives met? Number two, have you budgeted for the CoE accordingly, ensuring that they're enabled with the tools and technologies that they need to do a great job? Number three, in line with that, have you brought the right level and quality of people to this team? Did they come from the business with the right knowledge? Did they bring specific technical and operational expertise? Number four, have you staffed to the right level and the right number of folks? And then, number 5, acknowledging the fact that budgets will vary and we're all budget constrained. Have you tailored their charter to ensure that their prime focus areas for a given year or a given quarter are aligned to what they actually can do? Number 6, are you tangibly capturing customer feedback with regards to the performance of the CoE, its team members, and their contribution to the procurement vision? Does that make sense? Your goal is to set out the sandbox, so let's set it out so everyone knows where the sandbox is, how big it is, what gets done in the sandbox, and how that sandbox helps everyone else in the playground. Okay, I think I've stretched that analogy further than it deserves to go, but I think you know what I mean. Now, if you're a CoE leader or team member, here are a few ideas as to the types of things that you can do to begin to broaden your horizons and deliver more value. Number 1, have you set up performance mechanisms, dashboards, KPI reports that provide more visibility and analytics into both the function overall, but also individual categories and special projects? Number 2, have you developed tailored but reusable strategic frameworks for category teams to drive deeper strategy execution, for example, category playbooks? Number 3, how are you encouraging and facilitating effective cross-category best practice, or as I prefer to call it, better practice sharing to enable learning and continuous improvement? Number 4, have you developed an inventory of key processes that can be homogenized and optimized, for a lack of a better term, to drive more efficiency across the procurement organization? Number 5, do you have a mechanism, a charter, a push to create purpose-driven disruption by being on the lookout for resources, assets, tools, and technologies that will shake up the way things are done, that will continuously push your customer, your internal customer, to think differently? Look, I understand that budgets are tight, that finding people is hard, that there's a material amount of work that has to get done. But if you're going to go do the CoE, then do the CoE in the most optimal way possible. I don't mean overinvest, overspend, and over-resource. I mean work with what you have, set the goals up front, communicate those goals to everyone, measure against those goals, and keep showing your support of that defined agenda. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to hear more from us, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to reach out, email us at info@thesmartcube.com. Thanks for watching. This was Inside Procurement.